Bruce said talk about something you really are passionate about, so I'm not going to talk about failure except for the fact that I'm not where I'm going to be showing you. The title here comes from the marketing tagline for Great Smoky Mountains National Park, which describes themselves as a wondrous diversity of life. The Great Smoky Mountains National Park sits right along the state line between Tennessee and North Carolina, and the Appalachian Trail runs right through Crested Ridge. So you're right in the middle of a lot of really fantastic scenery. My family is most familiar with kind of the central area here because we've been going there and camping in the summer almost every year for about 30 years. Zoom in a little bit and take a little closer look. We're going to take our tour starting at the Elkmont Campground. The Elkmont Campground has a series of loop roads with campsites primarily for tent camping, or some pop-ups, with the little river, not shown on this little graphic, running right through the middle of it. Our favorite part of that campground is probably down here in the south end, Loop Inn, where you're at a dead end, very little traffic, and you go right across the road from Jake's Creek. So it's a phenomenal place to pitch your tent, play with grandkids, have a great time, and that, with a feeble projector bulb, that's what your front yard looks like. You basically look across the street and you're looking at Jake's Creek and running water and sunlight. And you can take a walk up Jake's Creek and look back toward the camp area. That's what you can see in the road. The forest is so dense, you basically see green everywhere. Or you can walk a little further up the Little River Road and find yourself hiking along the Little River on a gravel road that gradually becomes a backcountry trail. You find yourself a nice rock out in the middle of the Little River and just go sit and be quiet and enjoy the peaceful sounds of the forest. Walk a little bit further, and there's a little waterfall that comes trickling out of the bank right to the side of the trail, and it runs down under a bridge and feeds right into the Little River. Now, continuing our tour, when we camp at Elkmont, one of the places we like to go visit is a place called the Sinks, which is a very pretty waterfall, very rugged territory. It's called the Sinks because it sits in a spot where the Little River suddenly drops after going underneath the Little River Road. The river continues on around, makes a slight turn, becomes very deep, and there's a cliff where people can jump off into the river, and you have to really work hard to touch the bottom at that point. And finally, we'll conclude our tour by taking a look at one of the more dramatic but accessible parts of the park, the lodge at the top of Mount LeConte. It's the only place that's a privately operated lodging within the confines of the campground proper, and there's no way to get there but to hike. Back in October, I went with a group up the Allen Cave Bluff Trail, and right when we crossed that bridge that you see behind us, we saw another one of the many streams that goes throughout the park. Basically, the trail follows that stream with just a little contour for a little over a mile. Then you cross the the stream rather, on a log bridge that takes you up through a tunnel carved through the living rock. You basically walk up stairs inside the rock to come out at a higher elevation. You start getting up into a little bit more open terrain. You can see a little bit more around you. One of the advantages of going late in the year is that the colors are spectacular. We were still at the peak color time, and the falling leaves pretty much painted the trail red at a variety of places. As you continue up that trail at about 2¼ miles, you come to Inspiration Point, which is an exposed knob of rock that leaves you with about a 270-degree vista of open air. You basically just walk out and there are mountains in 3/4 of your field of view. Go another few hundred yards and you are at the entrance to Allen Cave Bluff, which is an interesting format that, according to local history at least, was mined for saltpeter during the Civil War. Finally, you can look at the landscape before catching your breath and taking a bit more of a rugged trail that gets you up into the snow line. You come out where you see the snow-covered hills, snow-covered tops rather, walk a tunnel of trees and snow to get your views of the log cabins that you'll spend the night in before you go out the next day and hike back feeling exhilarated and rested and back down to the place that still feels